welcome to VaynerBox. I'm Bambi Francisco. This week we look at new ways to organize those frequent flyer miles that you probably don't know you have, and a look at a new way to learn English on a mobile phone. Here to help us evaluate these companies today is our guest host, once again, Guy Kawasaki, who is an internet celebrity, he's an entrepreneur, he's an investor, he's a pundit.
Perez
what
Hilton,
else are you?
Perez Hilton of the internet.
Blogger. Perez Hilton, you said it. And Ezra Roizen, digital media investment.
That's not a good visual there.
And our VaynerBox regular. Today we're looking at TravelFly. This is a Techstars company out of Boulder, Colorado. Techstars, by the way, is that angel mentoring company out in Boulder. And we look at Urban Planet Mobile, which helps you learn English from your mobile phone. Let's start with TravelFly. They're trying to help the 17 million elite frequent flyers manage their miles.
Hi, my name is Krista, and I am the co-founder and CEO of TravelFly. And TravelFly helps frequent flyers maximize the full potential of their miles. So we do it in 3 ways. We help them organize all of their loyalty programs in one safe and convenient place, find ways to get free travel using their miles, and thirdly, book award travel online for the first time.
My name is Austin, and I'm the founder of TravelFly as well. Chris kind of talked a little bit about the solutions we're providing. It's really about a few things. It's about helping consumers, especially frequent flyers, realize the hidden value in these miles that they've been accruing for the past 10 or 20 years, and helping them understand that this is real currency.
Okay. Well, I love the airline outfits.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, pilot outfits are good. They forgot the hats, but otherwise,
that's good.
It's good.
I mean, I think first off, we've talked about Yapta, we've talked about a bunch of companies who have a bunch of companies that have
drunk guys
that have different nibbles at the travel problem, because it's such a big opportunity and there's so many different problems people have traveling and there's so many inefficiencies. So there's ways you can find new companies. This is clever in the sense that on one hand, it's organizing something that we all sort of have disaggregated. At the same time, I'm not sure where in the market you put yourself. If they're basically saying they said we're gonna go after the super premium traveler, those people usually have that stuff figured out. I mean, they actually spend 8 hours a day or a week thinking about their frequent flyer mile optimization. I did. I mean, they got it worked out. When I was a big European traveler going back and forth,
organized.
I had all that stuff nailed. I think it's the people who got stuff scattered all over the place and don't know where it all is. Those are the folks who got the opportunity.
Well, what's
Do you get your stuff organized?
I fly United Airlines. I fly 150,000 miles a year. What is there to do? What's my pain that I don't know about?
Yeah, I think that's my point. You're a mega traveler, and you usually fly on United.
Okay.
And because you're in San Francisco, and that's all you do.
Right.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks who are sort of more casual, low price travelers.
Okay.
Travel on all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
They go to Expedia, they get the lowest possible ticket they can get, and they travel on that.
Right.
And I think then you get this sort of like little 1,000 airline colony of miles where you got too little on everything to be worth anything.
And
now then I think maybe these guys can do clever ways of.
Well,
so what are they doing?
This is the thing, is that their market is actually, they're saying that they're trying to address the 17 million elite travelers, but what they're really doing is they're addressing the other, and I think that makes up whatever 2/3 of all the flyers out. They're really addressing the smaller portion that makes up all the unused frequent flyer miles.
Let's just go with the flow for a second. Let's say that I do have a bunch of crap floating all over the place.
Right.
What pain are they solving? What are they going to do for me?
So you can save $400. Isn't that an incentive?
No, but how do I save $400? What does it do?
Because let's say if look, and I think this is not the company that I think it's a great idea, but I actually do think that the incentive to be able to find those unused miles so you could get a ticket to New York for free is not really going to be an incentive. Basically what they're doing is they're managing your miles. So if you traveled on Delta and you forgot your miles, maybe if you remembered that you had unused miles, you would use them.
Yeah, I think there's incremental. I think they're going for the incremental gain. No, they're going for the incremental gain of some efficiencies in, like, maybe you can combine miles, maybe you can do this, maybe there's different ways you can look at the miles question.
It's like Mint for travel miles.
Yeah, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
So is there a way to squeeze a little bit of life, to reduce complexity and squeeze a little extra life out of your miles? It's not a terrible idea, but I don't think it's a mega traveler. I think a guy or me, when I was doing a lot of sort of all over the place traveling, I pretty much had my system down. I knew the airline I flew. I was a super premium customer on that airline. I'd show up and I'd go blast out of there. it's not. I think for these guys, and I just knew where my miles were. I think for these guys, it's about all the extra flotsam and jetsam of miles that are floating all around.
Yeah,
Can
the
you help
10 million
cares
unused travel miles out there, but they're not unused miles by you. It's about people like me who don't travel as much and really won't manage it.
And obviously the other trick becomes the last thing airlines really want is people to use those miles. So there's a little bit of a hazard with the airlines saying, what, we don't necessarily want to increase efficiency in this stuff.
Okay, let's get into, you brought up Mint, and so let's get to the liquid scenarios Mint at the time we look at the best valuation exit strategies, and then most importantly, when founders do or don't make money. In this situation, founders typically always make money because liquid scenarios always creates the best exit scenario possible. The founders think of themselves as the Mint.com of frequent flyer miles, so we started by using Liquid Scenario's Search 2 model to transform Mint's financing history into TravelFly's future. After changing a couple of dates to match TravelFly's funding, we brought two more related companies into Liquid Scenario's Sidestep and Kayak, which are similar but don't have frequent flyer rewards as a currency element like TravelFly does. Sidestep grew revenue to $30 million before being bought by Kayak in a sale that brought its investors $200 million in proceeds after 3 rounds of venture funding. Kayak recently raised a $200 million round to purchase Sidestep. Microsoft recently purchased Faircast, which is also very similar to TravelFly, for $115 million. Most of the acquisitions in this space required 3 rounds of financing and took place after the companies had started generating meaningful revenue. If TravelFly can grow revenue and see a $50 million exit, Techstars could see a 75x return, and founders would walk away with more than $10 million. Angels would do quite well, and even Series B holders would see double-digit returns. That's Liquid Scenarios Minute.
And it cost the airline $700 million in all these used miles.
Okay, look,
so
that's a very upbeat outlook.
It's a good scenario. I mean, it'd be great. Everybody'd be happy. I think it's a tough category. They got to get a lot of people using the service.
Right.
And maybe if they can do a deal with Expedia or somebody who can distribute, get sign-ups to this service, that'd be great.
Right.
I don't know. I know I got a bunch of crap all over the place. If I could log in one place and they could manage it all, I don't have a problem with that. It could be useful.
Okay, Guy doesn't have much to say about this. Let's move to the next one.
I'm just
Urban Planet Mobile. This is a service that lets you learn English on a mobile phone. This is one of my favorites, actually.
Hi, we're Brian and Catherine Oliver Smith, and we started and own Urban Planet Mobile. And Urban Planet Mobile is the first English language learning program entirely built for the mobile phone and the mobile delivery. We have English language conversations and learning in 10 different languages. I'll let my partner and head of content tell you about that.
Well, the content is really, we have 450 lessons, and that's word of the day, so it's vocabulary building. We have idioms or phrases, and then we have the conversations. And they build, so you'll have the word is team, and then it'll be things about being a team player, and then you'll have a whole conversation about team. So it really is meant as an educational content that's delivered on the mobile.
I really like this company.
I like it
I mean,
too.
I think the question is, can the business model be successful? Who knows? They got to have a zillion people using it, because if it's in rural China, rural China doesn't have, huge amounts of money, and they want to be on their phones for long periods of time. But at the same time, fundamentally, there is a category. It's a huge gateway service that's got the right platform idea, that's got the right implementation idea for getting people into the English world, which is has to be fundamentally one of the biggest barriers to joining sort of the global economy. And so I think if they can get basic English taught to more people, it's a great idea.
Well, what's the scenario?
Well, I mean, I don't really know how this.
How does the lesson get delivered?
You can draw. I believe you can listen to it, or you can draw it. In some cases, maybe draw it to your phone, and you can store it and listen to it.
As a ringtone?
That's one of the products.
Well, I think one of the applications is a ringtone, or you can. My understanding is you can just listen to it. You can actually just listen to it.
So it calls you, or
it could be a call. You can call in and get content, or you can listen to it over the speaker on the phone.
Well, any iPhone user is like worried about battery life, so we're not going to be taking lessons on it.
But I mean, if it was the only device
real world for you.
Well, first off, I don't think many rural Chinese are using iPhones. I think
but if that's their market, they're not going to make money anyway.
But I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and they could make money. They could make money through government grants or other kinds of way of basically getting this content and reaching that community. So I think that there are ways of getting this content out there, and the mobile phone in China and in India and Africa and South America, that's the computer. I mean, that's what people have. So I think designing an app for that platform is great. I think this is an app people will actually want to use and may pay a little bit of money for it.
Mm-hmm. It's a huge market.
Huge
self-study language market is like $30 billion. So, and there are a number of Chinese actually who live in this country who still need to learn English.
Paper or plastic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's a great product. I mean, personally, my stepmother is trying to learn English. She speaks Mandarin.
Does she have a cell phone?
She has a cell phone too. You know, I think it makes sense for her.
People have them with them. They're sitting around. They got a few minutes. Why not, learn a few swear words? I think it's great.
Right.
My criticism of the pitch is their pitch should explain exactly how it's delivered.
Yes.
I'm sitting here wondering, is it a ringtone? Is it a call? Is it an SMS? What is it?
I think he mentioned that it's an SMS, or it's packaged like in bytes, so it is like a ringtone, so it can reach what 90%.
But the reality is, you can manipulate those delivery mechanisms in a number of ways. I mean, you can just simply do a call. I mean, it's not that hard to set up a call and just do a call. You can get an SMS. You could then dial the number.
So you're sitting in a meeting and you want a call that says, you want to learn paper or plastic?
No, you would call in
today?
You would call in.
Oh,
you would call in.
Wow.
So I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to do it. I think that's clever. I think that's a clever way of using the technology as it is.
But my point is, they should explain how the hell it works.
Sure.
Because I don't think they did. I mean,
no. Email Guy and explain how it works.
Yeah.
But I do think the overall concept is clever.
Well, it makes sense. Okay, let's go with the Liquid Scenarios minute. To get a feel for market and exit opportunities, Liquid Scenarios pulled data on the language instruction market, which is $83 billion. One of those companies was italki, which raised an angel round of $150,000 in July of last year. Other players in the space include Praxis, Axioma, and SharedTalk, which is owned by recent IPO candidate Rosetta Stone. 40% of the language learning market last year, or about $32 billion, went to self-study programs. A review of Rosetta Stone income results shows how costly it can be to acquire and serve the self-study language market. It also shows how large firms in the space are trying to tap into this market, with subscription revenue increasing. The clearest and most immediate exit opportunity appears to be getting acquired by Rosetta, which will be able to use a combination of stock and cash, assuming its IPO is successfully completed. Even at the acquisition price of $3 million, maybe $6 million, any of the founders of these mobile and internet-focused language startups could walk away with millions, since few, if any, have secured Series A funding thus far. That's the Liquid Scenarios Minute. So a little bit better, a little bit more reasonable.
Rosetta Stone makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So big market.
What I want to know, and I don't think it was communicated, is do they have to do anything with a carrier? Do they have to suck up to a carrier? Do they need to form a partnership with a carrier? Do they need a carrier's permission? Do they want it built into the stack? Anything like that. If any of that's true,
it's probably not in the stack, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but if I can't tell you at Garage how many times we get a pitch from an entrepreneur and they say, well, it's so obvious to us why a carrier needs us that we'll just call up AT&T and bam, we'll be in the iPhone in next week. And it just never ever happens.
Yeah.
The completely agree with Guy. Devices and carrier networks are the bane of any mobile business. So the extent that they can avoid device issues or carrier issues, they'll be in much better shape.
Vietnam.
Travelfly or Urban Planet Mobile?
Urban Planet Mobile.
Urban Planet Mobile. I think the first one's interesting. I need to know more about it, but I love the basic concept.
Oh, wow, we all agreed. Okay, well, that's it for this week's VaderBox. Thank you, Guy Kawasaki, for joining us 2 times in a row, 2 weeks. That's great. Thank you for wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And my Vader shirt.
Yes, and Ezra Roses, thank you, as always. You've been watching VaderBox. I'm Bambi Francisco. We'll see you next time on Vader TV.